This is a question from Alison 50 plus. Thank you for your question, Alison. Alison asked me how I made this particular thumbnail here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing I want to tell you is that I took inspiration from Robert Benjamin's thumbnail here from small channels that do this get more subscribers on YouTube. And so you can see the similarities there. The second thing that I will tell you is that I've actually got the paid version of Canva. So you'll see me use quite a few of their like professional elements that obviously you don't pay for individually. I'm going to show you how to make this thumbnail, and you just have to be patient and you just have to work through it. If you really want to make the thumbnail, you just have to kind of like step your way through. So anyway, right, the first thing that I'm going to do, so you can see here that I liked it. I liked the blue in the background. I liked the yellow. I really loved these bars here. So, okay, I'm going to recreate this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the photo. That's pretty important. Which photo am I going to use? So I'm just going to choose just a photo. What's a good photo to use? So let's just say that I want to use this photo here. I'm just going to make a fresh page there, and I'm going to put this photo in here. I'm going to expand it. It's the first thing I do. So looking back up there, I've gone and put this one here over to the right, and you can see Robert is there to the right. And so I'm going to pull myself over to the right, something like that, because I want to give lots of room for the text. The next thing I'm going to do is click Background Remover. And one of the things I go back and do a bit later is I look at the filters just to see if I want my skin color to look any different. So the next thing is that we're going to bring in that background there. So we just hit background. I'm going to click on this particular page, and I'm just going to, like if we click the blue's already there, but let's say we wanted a different color because you can't see how I got that blue. So let's say I wanted to have, look, let's just start with that blue, and I'm going to change that blue, right? I want it to be a bit more like that, a little bit more like what Robert has got. So the way that we do that is that we click on the color, and I am looking to edit that. Okay, so right. So there we can see the color there. So we click on the color, and I'm going to click on this add a new color, and this brings up sort of a spectrum of all the different kinds of blues, because I've told it that I want, I've initially chosen that light blue. It's brought up sort of the blue palette, if you like. So I'm just going to like float around in there and just look for something like a little bit kind of dark. So you can see, then I just sort of go back and forth. I look to see what Robert's got on that particular thumbnail, and I just go a little bit darker, a little bit darker. And let's just say that's fine. Let's just go with that one for now. Okay, right. Now, we literally have to step element by element by element. The next thing that I do is I look at the hardest bit about the thumbnail. And the hardest bit about this particular thumbnail are these bars here. You've got the YouTube graphic there, and you got a new subscriber, and he's also used 1 minute ago. But so I'm looking at this piece here, and if we have quite a good look, we can see that it is got some kind of drop shadow there. So I am going to go over to elements, and I'm going to look up something that looks a little bit similar to that. And as you can see, I did actually find something. So let's just come over here, and we are going to go elements. And up here under search elements, you have to put something like, you just have to describe the shape that you're looking for. Like, for example, I'm going to put white rectangle. And then we can see here that it brings up a bunch of white rectangles. Now, under shapes, obviously these are rounded edges, so I'm going to go to see all. And we can see, for example, there's this pill shape here, which isn't quite right. So if something's not right, we just put it in the bin. There we go. We're just going to bin that. We're going to go back again. Square, white rectangle, square box rounded. Okay, it looks like that is the description that I put in. And is it giving me much? No, it isn't really. So as you can see, it's just a bit of trial and error. So I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to keep on having a bit of a play. So you need patience with this. White rectangle. Just stick with the white rectangle shapes. Frames. I'm going to keep looking around here. Charts. Okay, let's go to graphics. Go to graphics, and we're just going to do like a little bit of a scroll to see. Now, this is interesting. So, for example, we just go, okay, this is something, and it looks actually like this one isn't even a paid one. So you can search. If you hover over the graphic and you can see Pro, that's a paid graphic that you can only use if you buy it separately, or you have got the paid plan. Or you can look down here to some of these, and they are not the paid plans. So what I do is I just drop a few of my ideas on there. And to be honest, I also just can give myself like another one to play around with. So for example, we might just drop that one there. And I'm going to keep on looking to see if there's something else that I like better. So we've got magic recommendations, see all. So we're having a bit of a look there. And we're just going to see if we've got one with no drop shadow, because his one doesn't have a drop shadow. I went for non-drop shadow, and I think that it hasn't taken away anything. And this could be absolutely perfect, right? So you can see it's trial and error. So we're going to get rid of that one. We're going to put this one here. Let's just go duplicate. Oops, I'm going to undo that. From there, we go duplicate. Pull that down, duplicate, pull that down. So let's just leave those there for the moment. Let's go up now. We want to create this long form videos box. And the first thing to do is to work out the words that you want to put there. So let's go and do the words. To do the words, we're going to click back onto the one that we want, and we have to go text. I always pick add a heading. And to move at a heading, you just have to kind of like click off it, click back on it, and then you can just move it around like that. So we're going to go there. So you double click to then change the letters. And we're going to, I think it said long form videos, didn't it? Long form videos. And then you've got to click out of the box. Go back up there, long form videos. Right. So that's the first thing I want, because I want it to complement the words on the thumbnail, to complement my title. And obviously I'm wanting to just take inspiration, but not just straight out copy the same words, because that wouldn't match my title anyway, because the title of my video is different. And I want it to be in my font. And the font that I use, to change the font, you just go up here into where it says Canva Sans, or Canva Sans. You click that and it brings them all up. So I'm going to pick up Archivo Black, click Archivo Black, because that is what I use the most. And the cool thing about Canva now is it's got that little magnetic sort of, where it has got that haptic feel, where you can feel where it's like centered. So I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right, I'm going to go left. And I felt that click in there, and that's centered. So that is good. So I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to click off that, so I can scroll back up. So we've got long form videos, and then I want more subscribers. So I'm just going to pull these down, pull this down, pull this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate that by hitting this little plus button there, bringing that down. And I've got more subscribers. So I'm just going to double click in there. and just go forward, and I'm just going to click back. More subscribers. And because I end up by needing that text to be smaller, I'm just going to make it smaller like this. And I'm just going to kind of park it there. So as you can see, I'm just building it up. I've gone and I've put a color in the background. If you put the background color down first, that just really makes everything a lot easier. So that's the first bit, because then you want to just plonk everything on top of that. You can always go back and change the color background. The second thing I do is I pick the photo that I want to use. And so I've gone and put that there. Edited the background, get rid of the background, pop that in there. The next hard thing to do is obviously coming up with these "you got a new subscriber," those bars there, just to show what notifications look like. So basically, if I have a look at what Robert's got, and the other thing too to mention is that you can see he's got quite a sort of like a bit of a stunt, and that is absolutely his signature photograph, isn't it? You'll see him just looking big over the top, like shocked emotions. But remember, the thing about a thumbnail is that you want to evoke curiosity. You are trying to get the click. The thumbnail and the title need to work 50-50. I would say probably the thumbnail being the visual one could even be like 75%. Like, do not quote me on that, but I'm just saying that is what people see first, and then they see the title. So your thumbnail has a lot of heavy lifting to do. Like, that is just facts. So that's why he always goes for these really like these really big, like really you'll see him looking like silent screaming. So I've tried to choose something that is a bit like, you know, like, oh, shock. So that's going to stop the scroll, which is what you want. You want to stop the scroll. And if you've just got kind of bland, like, you know, I used to do quite a lot of thumbnails that just had like a normal face or, I don't know, something. But, you know, it's quite hard work to get people to just, you know, come out of their funk and actually click on your video. So anyway, this is what we've got. We are building up. Got the 3, all that stuff there. We're not being perfect about it just quite yet. Then I see the next hard bit is going to be this little YouTube button. So play button. Right, and then I'm going to go to images. And so, for example, we can see a few here, right? So if I go to here, I literally am just going to click on something that I see, right click on it, and I'm going to see if I can save the image as. And then I'm going to go back into Canva, and I'm going to go upload, and there we go there. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here onto my play sandpit area, and I'm just going to like double click that so I can actually see what I'm working with now. The first thing that we are going to want to do is we are going to want to see if we can shrink that down. So there we go, that is perfect. I'm going to shrink down really all around the edges, just make it as small as possible, like that. Then I am going to go onto background remover, because now see, this is an interesting one. This is what happens when you remove the background. It takes away all of the white, but in actual fact, if we scroll back up, so his is grey, so that's interesting, right? So when I looked for long white rectangle, I can see that I've actually put grey there. So let's just change that up for now. Let's just go color, and I'm going to come over here just to the add a new color, and I'm going to look for some kind of grey. If I didn't have that color, I would just go to the color palette here, and I would just go something like grey. So that's even better. There, it's a little bit darker, isn't it? He's got it a little bit darker. Mine's a bit darker too. So that could be a good grey. Okay, go back up there. Right, we are getting our little YouTube button. So this is where now we can see the YouTube button, and it's got the white in there. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to put this button over top of a piece of white. So if we go there, so this is literally, so you can see the vision. Okay, right. So there, for example, that is what I'm going to end up by doing, but I'm going to make sure that it's white in the middle there, and I'll show you how to do that. But before we get more detailed, now I've realized that, yep, I've got that under control. I can get that white triangle. What I need to do now is put you got a new subscriber, and then you can make a decision as well if you want to put something like that 1 minute ago. I do tend to fuss a little bit about the font, so I'm just going to put the words in that I want. You got a new subscriber. Let's go text, and I'm going to try something like a subheading, and that's just annoying the way it's done that. So we're just going to stretch that out, click off it, click back on it. So here, let's just extend that out a little bit there. So add a subheading, and it's got, you got a new subscriber. Right. Got a new subscriber. Exclamation mark. And we're just going to click off that, click back on it, and stretch that out. So we're stretching that out. So this is what we've got at the moment. Okay, so at this stage, we are getting there. We are really, really getting there. At this point, I might play a little bit with because it's always going to default to Canva Sans or Canva Sans. So I'm going to have a look at what his font looks like and whether it's got those little A's, like these little fancy A's, or whether it's got like a more modern A. But I'm going to have a bit of a play around to try and copy that sort of font. So I won't spend too much time having like a play here, but you get the gist. And I think, was it Inter that I ended up by using, or was it Copper Hewitt? Copper Hewitt, no, Inter. Let's have a wee look to see what his looks like. You got a new subscriber. Look, that is not bad. I think that Inter might be there because that might be the one that I used. So, but that's just trial and error. You go through and have a look through. But I do tend to get quite picky about the font, and I want it to look, if it looks like a YouTube notification and we really recognize that that graphic looks like it, I actually try and make it look like that. So at this point, okay, we are getting there. I'm going to have a look, long form videos. Right, I'm just going to move my little subscriber bit out the way, and I'm going to move my long form videos text out of the way. The way that I get the yellow in the background is just I go for a big yellow rectangle. So I'm just going to put here, click elements and go yellow rectangle. And I think that these are quite manipulatable. Okay, so yellow rectangle. We want something. So let's look at that there. Why is it giving me 2? I don't want 2. Yellow rectangle. I don't want glow. So to be honest, it's best to kind of like play down around here. So let's just get rid of some of these that we don't want anymore to give us some space. We don't want that one, and we'll just shift that out of the way. Yellow rectangle. We don't want any borders around it. So we might look at that. Now that I don't like, it's a bit too textured. That one looks pretty good because look at that, I can actually manipulate that. So let's just go left click, right click, copy, come up here, left click to land on this particular page 3, right click and then paste. And I'm just going to drag that up there. So hopefully you can see how we're starting to build. So we can bring up now this is the other thing too, is that let's look at long form videos. I'm going to right click on there and I'm going to go to layer and I'm going to bring that to the front. So now whatever I drag it, oh look at that, it's not liking it. Sometimes it's just a bit of trial and error. We're going to go layer. We're going to, actually what I'm going to do is, sometimes if the layers don't work, I'm going to right click and I'm just going to go copy. Then I'm going to left click onto my rectangle, then right click, and I'm going to go paste. And voila, we've got it. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to center that in there. Okay, long form videos. So now I can click on this one here and I can just send that to the bin because I've already used it the way that I need to use it. The next thing, I'm going to scroll up, we've got more subscribers. And we can also make that a little bit, we can just drop that little top bit down on our, let's just move that out the way. I'm just going to bring that down a bit, just to make it a bit skinnier. Then click off it and then just click back up there. And then we're just going to pop it back there. So you can actually play around with it. So anyway, it kind of gets fun as you start building up along the way. It just takes time, but the more that you use Canva, the quicker you get at it. Now, more subscribers has got a white background. So I'm going to just move that over here. I'm going to just click on all of these. I'm just going to move them out the way because we can come back and play with those later. So we've got more subscribers here. So now I need a white rectangle, long white rectangle. Why not? Maybe we'll get rid of the long bit. Let's go white rectangle. We're going to go there, and that one's glowy, so we don't want the glow. We just want ordinary schmordinary, and this we can change and we can do stuff to. All right, so let's go with this one. Click off it. Oops. If you move something accidentally, just come back up here and click undo, and then you click off it. So now we're just going to try and move our rectangle. Now that is interesting. It has given us that little weird roundy corners, but I know how to fix that because look at this, we can just pull it down off the top and voila. Right, so we're going to go more subscribers. So let's just make this a little bit skinnier like that, and we'll see what more subscribers, just need it a bit longer like that. Just going to see if it fits. So you're getting the gist. I'm just going to move that, and I'm just now going to see, is this in line with each other or is it offline? Now his is offline, and I like that because that is going to disrupt the eye. That is going to catch the eye's attention. So that is something to pay attention to. And as you can see, I've done that to mine too. He's actually rounded his corners. I haven't bothered with that, but I think the rounded corners does look really, really nice. And I think that I must have just forgotten about that actually and not done the rounded corners, but you know, it's no big deal. It's just kind of roughly similar. So we've got them offline. Go back up there. So mine is over to the left there. So let's just, oops, let's grab more subscribers and we'll put more subscribers in there, kind of look to center it and then click off it. And cool. So now we're going to go back to the fiddly bits now because this is the main bit. Once we've finished off these 3 bubbles now, we are kind of good. So what have we got? You got a new subscriber. You got a new subscriber. We've got 1, 2, 3 and a little bit. So we're going to see if we can pull that off. So there, we're going to come down here. You got a new subscriber. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the sizes that I don't want. I'm just going to have a look to see how long it goes. Push there, push it there. And I'm just going to duplicate one more time so it goes partly off the screen. So now we just go and we drag our little play button there. Now it's got white at the back. We need to put some white at the back. So I'm just going to get a white circle. Just go white circle. And I'm just going to go for an ordinary white circle like that. I'm going to make it smaller. Make it smaller. Smaller. Just going to pop that on there. And then I'm going to pop this on top. Now see how it's not going on top? The way we fix that is right click. We go copy. Click on the circle. Left click to click on the circle, right click to go under paste. So that gives us now the ability to pop up there, and you can see that has popped up the white behind there. So we can just bin that because we like that. In fact, I think I might need to make that smaller. So we're just going to make our circle smaller. So I'm going to bring that there. put that over there. And so at the moment we are just trying everything. We're getting to the end. Okay, you're doing well. If you're sticking with me this amount of time, you're doing well. So you got a new subscriber. We're going to make that a little bit smaller. You got a new subscriber. And we're going to go there like that. And I'm just going to sort of try and put it sort of in the center-ish. You got a new subscriber. Right. So we can see that there. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go duplicate. And so there we go. Right. So now we just actually need to go and get our circle. We need to duplicate the circle, put another one there, duplicate that, go there. And we'll see if we can duplicate that. Actually, we don't need to go down there. So I'm going to delete that one. Right. I'm just going to get another duplicate there. So we're going to pop over there. And pop this one over there. And we're going to pop this one. Actually, I was going to go copy and paste. Copy there. And we're going to do that again. This point here, so this is where we make the decision, like how big to put your photo, and you can just adjust all the sizes. I've decided to go and put, and see if it's, now this is the way you do it, right? So you've got a photo there, and if you want to put part of your photo over the top, you've got to copy, make a copy, and then come back again. So we're just going to have a little bit of a look down here. So I might do the same. I might just right click. I'm just going to go duplicate. So it's just giving me the duplicate, and then we just pop it on there. So look, that is pretty much it. It isn't exactly the same because you can see that I've actually just put more time into trying to get a longer, skinnier grey box, but you get the gist. It just takes time. You just have to keep on looking at the graphics. Some of the graphics you can stretch out, like that big long yellow rectangle box there. I could just stretch that out. And in fact, I just picked yellow box and I just cropped it down to give me that. But when you start getting into looking for the rounded edges, if it's got any kind of drop shadow on it at all, you can't just, like, for example, yeah, I was trying before just to put this shape here on top of another shape, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But because it's got a slight like pop effect behind it, like a slight lift, I could see the grey edges around it. So that is kind of pretty much it. Like, I really hope Alison and anyone else watching this video, that is really what I do when I try and get inspiration and just recreate a thumbnail that I really, really like. You know that, like, this thumbnail here is a 1.8 times outlier for Robert Benjamin. All of his, he's obviously a huge YouTuber, and he's got a lot of outliers. An outlier is where your thumbnail, your video, an outlier is where your video has performed much better than your average videos. So this particular video performed 1.8 times better and got 2.2 views per hour than a lot of his, than his average videos. So that's why I'm quite interested in outliers. You're looking for a design that has worked for someone else, like a big YouTuber or a small YouTuber. An outlier is an outlier. So last thing I didn't mention was how to do a filter on your actual photo. This is actually quite important. So just click on your photo, come over to filters, which filters is down here. Go see all. And I like to start with the natural ones. So I think, no, that's a bit too red. That's a bit too earthy. That's a bit too yellow. Looking down there, mist, no, don't like any of those. Go down to warm, just start having a bit of a play around. Look on the cool. Okay, that's not bad. Polar, tundra, Arctic. I might have used Arctic up the top. Right, so the one thing that you can do to compare is just go back up to none, and you go, oh, yeah, okay, that's what none looked like, and then go back down and just start having a bit of a look. Polar. And what did I say we were going for? Arctic. So Arctic is probably an option. I don't bother to go with any of the soft because I think it just looks a bit filtery. Vintage I tend to ignore. Right, so I'm just going to go for that one there. I'm going to go for that Arctic one there. So there we go. So that's it basically. That looks better, just sort of makes the face stand out quite a bit. And at that point, then you just go to share and you go to download, and I always go up to 1.5 because I want to have good quality. And then I go limit file size to, and I go 2000 there, and then I go download, and then it just downloads. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Good luck with making your thumbnail. It is just perseverance, building, having lots and lots of patience. But yeah, all right. So good luck with all of that.